What is up, everybody? I'm Chris, and you're back with another episode of the Chronically Motivated Project. Today is Thursday, so that means today is Donuts and Diabetes Day. Today I'm focusing on all the things that can't cure diabetes. I was going through the store, and I happened to pick up two products just because I wanted to share with them. For those of the listeners that are just listening and not watching on YouTube, I have two products here. One is, let's read this, Gold Bond Hydrating Lotion, Diabetics Skin Relief. And the other is called Multibedic, very clever name for a multivitamin, specifically formulated for people with diabetes. It helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels that are already in normal range. Helps support normal vision and eye health, and helps promote nerve health and function. It's also gluten-free. So I was in the store, and I was reading some of this stuff, and I'm like, wow, stuff specifically for diabetics. They must be so caring. So I wanted to read some of this stuff on the back. With diabetes, skin can become cracked and rough and generally uncomfortable. Also, without diabetes, skin can become rough and cracked and uncomfortable. This lotion is specifically formulated for diabetic dry skin. Okay. Let's just talk about the ingredients. Actually, before the show, compared them. And the only thing that was different was petroleum. I'm going to go ahead and call a big BS on this one right now because there is no difference between diabetic skin, dry skin, and normal people's dry skin. Non-diabetics, the dry skin, okay? Let's go to this multivitamin. As I was in the store, I was actually in the store with my brother who's a pharmacist. You know, he went to school for like real pharmacy stuff, not like a holistic rain dancer. And I was like, Michael, take a look at this. Already it says helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels that are already in normal range. Why? If they're already in normal range, why would I need your help? One. And two, looking at the back, some of these claims promotes nerve health, normal vision. There's a vitamin called lutein that is in almost every vitamin that also helps the same thing. There's nothing special in here. Normal chromium, potassium, vitamin B, and other B complexes. This is just a normal multivitamin that is pitched to diabetics. So that got me thinking, if marketing is completely focused on some of these diabetic products just to get more sales, just to kind of use this almost fear tactic, hey, you're diabetic, you need diabetic lotion, you need diabetic vitamins. Like, I'm just going to throw out there that this diabetic lotion missed a good opportunity. It should have been called Diabetes. I would have definitely used it if it was called Diabetes. Like, they screwed up right there. But honestly, guys, I was thinking, like, all this dumb crap exists. Trying to sell, some sort of cure or some sort of potion or something that's going to make diabetics' lives better, but really it's just masked with crap. And that got me really thinking to all the magical cures that are out there on the internet and pushed by people who just don't really know what's going on. I'm sure you've heard it if you have diabetes. You've heard things like, oh, this will cure your diabetes. Oh, if you eat this, if you drink this, if you think this, you'll say goodbye to your diabetes forever. So I started looking up some stuff, and I came across a video on YouTube that had 2.4 million views. Say goodbye to your diabetes in 6 days. I was like, okay, I've had diabetes for about 8 years. I'd love to say goodbye to my diabetes in 6 days. So I clicked it, of course. And some lady comes on with a very awkward voice. It sounds like she was reading off a bad piece of paper that she could barely read. And basically, all you have to do is crush up some hibiscus leaves in water and drink it for 8 days straight, morning and night specifically. Can't miss a dose or else the medicine won't work. That's what she said. Ha. That's what she said. And that's it. In 8 days, my diabetes could be gone from hibiscus leaves. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I don't even need this diabetic lotion or these diabetic vitamins because I won't have diabetes anymore because of hibiscus leaves. Guys, it's a shame that people are putting this stuff out there on the internet because people actually believe it. And I'm going to throw out for the general consumer who's listening to this, do not crush up hibiscus leaves in water for 8 days and think your diabetes is going to go away. Somehow these magical cures have been popping up and people actually share this information. It's almost like this 6-minute abs. You remember when they used to really push that on the TV Guide channel, like 6-minute abs, 6 abs in 6 weeks or less. Then it went to 6 minutes. Then it went to like the 5-minute abs, the 4-minute abs. That's what's happening with diabetic cures. Cure your diabetes in 8 days. Cure your diabetes in 7 days. I saw one cure your diabetes in like 4 days. People are competing to give you this BS. Like that, what? What? Is this serious? Like, do people actually listen to this? Yes. Yes, they do. People listen to this because diabetes can be really rough to deal with. It's such a tedious minute-by-minute disease. It's frustrating for me, for endocrinologists, for people who have a wealth of information on diabetes but still live with it. It's frustrating and it's hard to deal with. So they're desperate. And desperation leads to things that can be dangerous. On top of hibiscus leaves, I'm sure you heard cinnamon. Cinnamon. You know, oh, you have diabetes? Make sure you have cinnamon. That will help get rid of your diabetes. No, it won't. Let's just throw out the whole fact that you cannot get rid of your diabetes. You can't. Even type 2. You can put off symptoms and you can have an amazing diet and work really hard to improve blood sugar control. But diabetes never goes away. It doesn't. It just doesn't go away. That's not how it works physiologically speaking. I'm not talking about in the Facebook sense of things when people just write things on other people's statuses thinking they know everything. If someone comments on your social media or lets you know that you can eat cinnamon and get rid of your diabetes, how can you honestly think that as a person with a soul and a mind? And if you have this much intellect, for those people who can't see, I'm making the world's smallest fingers. Like my fingers are pretty much touching, but they're not because I'm trying to show how small of an intellect you have to really think that cinnamon can cure your diabetes. Yes, there were some studies that showed cinnamon can reduce some insulin resistance. You want to know what else reduces insulin resistance? Walking, being not sedentary, moving, going to the gym, eating right, normal activity stuff. That helps reduce insulin resistance. I have had so much cinnamon in my life and I still have diabetes. I've had cinnamon toast crunch, I've had cinnamon donuts, I've had cinnamon, ground cinnamon. I've had every kind of cinnamon you can imagine. Cinnamon pills, I've done everything. I still have diabetes. Cinnamon does not cure diabetes. It's not a magical cure. There are no magical cures. But I'm going to go over some more non-magical cures. There was a huge eruption on social media, I think it was a few years ago, about okra water killing your diabetes forever. For one, you can't kill diabetes. Diabetes is not a thing you can kill. It's a dysfunction of the beta cells in the pancreas. You can't kill diabetes. It's not like an enemy, a sworn enemy that you can just joust with. You can't kill it. So you already sound dumb. You already sound stupid to me. Kill your diabetes with okra water. Soak okra in water and drink it, and your diabetes will be gone. I feel like this stuff is so outlandish that people are like, this is so dumb that it has to be true. I don't even know how they fathom that logical process. But okra water, for real? For real? Who even eats okra? Maybe that's why they came up with it. No one eats it, so maybe it'll work. Okay, okra. has soluble fiber in it. It can delay the digestion of carbohydrates or the entire digestive process of food. Does not cure diabetes. Why? Because nothing cures diabetes. Okra water especially doesn't cure diabetes at all. It's not a medicine. It's not a medicine. It just can't cure diabetes. I don't know if you guys have heard this one, but I just get chills thinking about it. Maybe 3 months ago, I walked into a Chevron gas station, and I was the only person in the gas station, and my blood sugar was dropping. I was about 50 and dropping. So I got some cookies to bring me up. If I'm going to have a low blood sugar snack, I might as well eat something that's delicious. So I'm waiting to cash the guy out, and he notices my Dexcom on my arm. Dude looks like Yoda. He's like 3 foot nothing. And he comes waddling around the counter and approaches me. I'm like, okay, I need to buy these snacks, but you're just going to leave. That's cool. Comes up to me. He's like, what is on your arm? He's like, is that an energy patch? I'm like, no, it's a Dexcom. It's continuous glucose monitor, blah, 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 blah. It helps me with my diabetes. He's like, oh, diabetes. My grandma had diabetes. Have you had bitter melon? I'm like, what? Bitter melon. He said it like really softly, but like tactfully. Like he was giving me the secret to Fort Knox. And like, I don't know. He kept saying bitter melon. I'm like, what about it? He's like, gets rid of diabetes completely. My grandma did it. Got rid of her diabetes. I was like, oh no, I just take insulin. He's like, you don't need to take that. Just get bitter melon. And walk back to the counter. I'm like, please just give me my snack so I don't die. He's like, I'll never get diabetes because I don't eat foods like this. I mean, he's judging me in the middle of me having a low, in the middle of telling me his grandma eats bitter melon and got rid of her diabetes. So I ask him, oh, did she have type 1 or type 2 diabetes? And I started getting some information. Oh, well, she died from diabetic complications. What? Okay, I'll be sure to give bitter melon a try. I don't mean to, excuse me. I don't mean to laugh at your grandma dying from diabetic complications because that is absolutely awful. But the way you just said bitter melon saves you from diabetes and then told me that information, I don't really know what to do with it. Bitter melon. There you go. Magical cure. Not really. Vegan diet. Have you heard that? Do a raw, liquid vegan diet, or however they want to phrase vegan diet is the cure for all. One, I don't mean to be mean, but vegan diet is not a complete diet because it requires you to take supplements for it to be a complete diet. If not, you'll have iron deficiencies because you can't get all of the necessary nutrients from that diet alone. So it is an incomplete diet. That's just fact. It is an incomplete diet. Regardless of what it's done for you, yes or no, whether you like it or not, it is an incomplete diet. Not saying that's a good thing or bad thing. I'm just throwing that out there. Number 2, vegan diet is primarily made up of carbohydrates, generally speaking. It is usually anywhere between 50 to 70% carbohydrate intake. For someone who is either newly diagnosed diabetic or someone who struggles to control their blood sugar already, putting them on that many carbohydrates will not only not cure your diabetes, but it will make your diabetes 10 times worse. So that blows my mind in how you could associate eating more carbs, but they're healthy carbs. Okay, but healthy carbs, just like unhealthy carbs, raise my blood sugar. That's just what happens. When you have sugar, blood sugar, it goes up. I don't care if you're vegan or not. Whether you eat a Twinkie or 10 apples, your blood sugar will raise if you don't take insulin. That's just how my diabetes works and everyone else's diabetes works. And don't even get me on the apple cider vinegar people, that cult community of people who swear by it, who just, it fixes everything. It fixes diabetes, it fixes obesity. You take 2 swigs of this apple cider vinegar and you're no longer overweight, you're no longer diabetic, you control your blood sugar. The only reason why that works is because it's so disgusting that you don't want to eat anything for the rest of the day, because it just ruined everything you could ever fathom about putting in your mouth, because your mouth is just thrashed by the taste of this harsh vinegar-like acid that is absolutely disgusting. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason it works. So it might not cure your diabetes, but it definitely makes you not want to eat. All these cures, they're funny as hell to me. They're really funny, because I know at the end of the day, nothing's going to cure my diabetes. I need to take my medicine to be healthy and to be safe. But I fear for the people who believe it. And that's why I'm doing this. It's funny. It's all fun and games, but it is extremely dangerous to tell someone to consume a natural, I don't care if it's a fruit, a vegetable, whatever cinnamon is, I don't care what it is. You should never tell someone or be told to take one of those items in place of your medicine. You can do whatever you want on top of your medicine as long as it doesn't harm you, but never remove medicine out of the equation, especially without a doctor's notice, because of something you heard from some friend. Like, I don't care what your ancient recipe is, where your abuelita told you to rub a potato on your pancreas and bury it in the ground, and then your diabetes is no longer with you and it's with the potato in the ground. Like, I don't care what sort of rituals you have. It is extremely dangerous to mess with your medicine regimen because of folklore. There are some serious consequences to natural alternatives when it comes to removing medication that is prescribed to you, especially for an autoimmune disease that will not go away for the rest of your life until we hopefully get a cure. Don't put yourself at risk, okay? Understand all the things that can't cure diabetes, and just don't do them. Take care of your diabetes. Learn to manage your diabetes as efficiently as possible. That is it for today. I hope you enjoyed Donuts and Diabetes Day on the Chronically Motivated Project. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Chris Ruden, or you can head to my website, www.chrisruden.com. I will see you guys later.